Hi everyone, sorry I couldn't be here today. I'll see you on Wednesday, okay? Just a reminder to be respectful and listen to the instructions of the supply teacher. If the supply teacher asks you to move because there's only a maximum of 2 people per desk, please do so quickly and quietly. Also, if you're chatting too much, okay, please make sure if the teacher asks you to move, you do so quickly and quietly, okay? Remember, we want a good learning atmosphere where everyone can listen easily to the instructions and not get distracted. Okay, so please make sure you're quiet and please keep all talk in the classroom positive. Okay, so we're going to continue on with the carbon cycle. Last class we did learn about photosynthesis, okay, and so we're also going to talk a little bit about the reverse process today, which is called cellular respiration. Okay, so photosynthesis and cellular respiration are 2 parts of the carbon cycle. Okay, and I'm also hoping that you were able to watch a video already, and the video helps you to visualize what we're learning about. Okay, so first of all, let's just highlight, use your pencil and underline cellular respiration. Okay, everyone please say cellular respiration. Okay, cellular respiration. Okay, so cellular respiration, we're going to do the chemical formula for the reaction. So it is C6H12O6. Okay, so I'm just going to purely do the chemical formulas first, and then I'm going to follow up with the words underneath it. Okay, so there's quite a bit of writing today, so please bear with me. Okay, so these two are the reactants, and then when they react together, they form the products CO2, which we might remember as well, plus H2O plus energy. Okay, please feel free to ask the teacher to pause at any time. Okay, and so if you remember C6H12O6, I'm hoping someone remembers what this is. If you do remember, please shout it out or put up your hand. Okay, and it is sugar. Okay, sugar in the form of glucose. Okay, now does anyone remember what O2 is? O2? O2 is oxygen. Okay, oxygen. Next up, CO2. CO2 is a carbon emission, and it is carbon dioxide. Okay, and does anyone remember what H2O is? I hope so. If you do, shout it out. Okay, H2O is water. Okay, so what we're finding here is that all animal cells and also plant cells undergo cellular respiration. It's actually where the cells respirate. It's kind of like breathing, okay? When we breathe in, we take in oxygen and we breathe out carbon dioxide, okay? We need oxygen for all of our cells to survive, okay? We also need sugars in order to survive as well, because that's what gives us our energy, okay? And when we breathe out, for example, when you put your hand in front of your mouth and you breathe out, you can actually feel the water vapor, okay? So you're breathing out water and also some energy, okay? So you're not breathing out energy, okay? But you are, this is one of the byproducts, okay, of cellular respiration, okay? Now, plants do the reverse process, which is called photosynthesis. Okay, so I'm going to write that down and then we're going to say it together. Photosynthesis. Oh gosh. Photosynthesis. Okay, to make energy, and it looks like this. So we're on the left-hand side, we're going to have CO2, okay, plus H2O plus energy, okay, and then on the right side of the equation or the reaction, we have C6H12O6, and we also have O2. Okay, so we're going to write these things down. Okay, pause it if you need to. So we've got carbon dioxide, we've got water, and we've also got energy, and then over here we've got sugar, and we've also got oxygen. Okay, now what do you notice about these two equations, these two chemical equations from up above? Well, what we notice is that they are reverse. Okay, this part right over here is the same thing as this part over here, right? And this part over here is the same as this part over here. Okay, so we actually notice that they are reverse processes, and we're just going to write that down. Okay, reverse processes. Okay, we'll just keep it at that. Okay? Okay, so what we want to do now is understand the carbon cycle and how it moves through our ecosystems. Okay, so carbon is cycled through the biotic and biotic factors in an ecosystem the same way that water is cycled through the environment. The carbon cycle looks like this. Okay, and we're actually going to take a moment and draw the carbon cycle. Okay, so in order to draw this cycle, what I want you to do is just draw some clouds. Okay, we're going to draw some key areas. Okay, we're going to draw some clouds, maybe a sun. Okay, I also want you to draw some plants. Okay, so some plants maybe on the bottom. So draw a tree or something like that. So this represents plants, okay? And we're also going to draw maybe something like a cow. Okay, so there's animals, for example. Oof, I don't know if I can draw this very well. There's his nose. There's his ears. Don't judge me for my drawing. Oh goodness, this is awful. Please do a better job than I'm doing. That's his tail, okay? Moo. Okay, so, and I'm just going to move this over a little bit. Okay, so give myself a little bit more room. Hope you're copying okay. So we've got plants, we've got animals. I'll move this over here. And then also over here, I'm going to draw a factory. Okay, so something that's kind of burning. Maybe I'll use gray. Yeah, let's use gray. Factories are usually gray. I don't know, whatever. Okay, and then there's like a gray bunch of smoke going up into there. And then we could also draw a car as well. Okay, this is an awful car, whatever. Okay, and one last thing I want you to draw is some like bones and maybe some leaves, okay, over at the bottom here. So I'm going to make the bones also in gray. Some bones to represent fossils or fossil fuels, and maybe also some leaves. Trying to draw like a maple leaf. Okay, ooh, that looks awful, but that's okay. Okay, and we're gonna label these. Okay, so this is gonna be the atmosphere. Okay, atmosphere. Okay, this is gonna be plants. This is gonna be animals. This is gonna be factories and cars. Okay, and this at the bottom here will be fossil fuels. Okay, and these are the key pictures that we need in order to complete our carbon cycle. Okay, so now we're going to talk about how carbon originates, and how it transforms in these different objects, and how it gets cycled through, because there's nothing new on our Earth, right? Except for when, for example, meteoroids, whatever they're called, okay, asteroids, meteorites, crash on Earth. Everything that's on Earth is kind of constant, okay? All that's happening is it's changing from one form to another, Okay, so what we're doing here is we're tracking the carbon though. Okay, so let me just move this back now. Okay, so we're doing the carbon cycle. So in the atmosphere, let's just start over there, okay? This in the atmosphere, we have carbon in the form of CO2, carbon dioxide. Okay, so in the atmosphere, it's as carbon dioxide. Then what happens, okay, so I'm going to put all the forms of it in purple, and then in green will be the processes, okay? What happens is that carbon dioxide is absorbed from the atmosphere into plants, okay, through photosynthesis. Okay, so we're going to label it as photosynthesis. Photosynthesis. Okay, so it's taken from the atmosphere and it's taken into the plants. Okay? Through the process of photosynthesis, the carbon dioxide converts in plants into carbohydrates or sugars. So now it's in the form of C6H12O6. Okay? And then what happens next is that, for example, a primary consumer will eat the plants or the producer. So I'm going to put an arrow going into here. Okay? And what happens is that the animal consumes the plant. Consumes, whatever. Okay, we're okay, right? Okay. Next up, there might be a few animals in this food chain, okay, or food web, okay? But ultimately, there's some animals that eat this carbon, okay? And in the animal, it's also stored as sugars, this carbon, C6H12O6. Okay, then next up, what happens is we also have a reverse process, okay? So photosynthesis to get the carbon dioxide in, and then in order to get it out back into the atmosphere, we do cellular respiration. So all animals, and also, okay, so we're pointing towards the atmosphere, and then over here too, okay? We're doing the process of cellular respiration. Okay, so please pause this whenever you need to, because I know this is quite a bit. Cellular respiration. Okay, cellular respiration. Okay, so what we'll notice is that we've got one arrow going down and two arrows going up. One arrow going upwards into the atmosphere from the plant, one arrow going upwards into the atmosphere from the animal. Okay? Another thing that happens though is that we're breathing out, okay? However, both plants and animals die, right? So they die and they decay, okay? And they turn into fossil fuels. So I'm going to point from the plants and also from the animals. Okay, and this process is called decomposing. Decomposition. So it turns into, after millions and millions of years, it turns into fossil fuels. And then what happens is that we dig up these fossil fuels, right, and then we burn them. Okay, so I'm going to put this over to the factories and cars. Okay, I'm going to turn this over to the factories and cars, and then the factories and cars will burn them, right, and also return it into the atmosphere, and that's why we have global warming, right? So over here, I'm going to write down burning. Okay, so through burning fossil fuels, we return the carbon dioxide to the atmosphere. Okay, so the interesting thing we see is that there is only one arrow going downwards. Okay, there's only one way we can pull the CO2 from the atmosphere, and that's through photosynthesis. But there's three ways, and probably more actually, of putting the CO2 back into the atmosphere. Okay,